Let us welcome the last speaker of the first half of this contest. The fifth speaker is Mr. Yuichi Kurosaki from the University of Tokyo. He will deliver his speech under the title of Take a First Step Forward with a Little Bit More Courage. Mr. Kurosaki, please come up to the stage and shout for a new world.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, distinguished judges, questioner, and timekeeper. And sorry for the very long title. Anyway, let me start. In a large hall on campus in southern England, filled up with hundreds of people, a voice echoed. The most communicative student, Yuichi Kurosaki. Ladies and gentlemen, most of you might have heard that Japanese people are typically poor at speaking English, and it could be true in some ways. Here is a story. One day, when I go back to my house, my father told me about a TV program he watched titled, "Let's Talk About the Future of China, Korea, and Japan." In the class, there were 8 students from each country, and my father was quite disappointed because those Japanese students didn't even try to use English to make themselves understood, while both the Chinese and the Korean students expressed their opinions in English. This scene illustrated Japanese people's typical attitude towards speaking English in a way. We hesitate when speaking aloud in English, even though we have studied it in school for at least 3 years to 6 years. However, according to a survey on Japanese people's self-esteem regarding their English ability, about 80% of Japanese people replied they're not confident in their English speaking ability. And I think it is a pity that they believe they are poor at speaking English, because it is obvious that they have the fundamentals that have been built in school education. They are already ready to communicate, actually. We have the fundamentals, but we hesitate when speaking aloud in English. Why? The lack of opportunity to speak English? Some people criticize that in Japan, both teachers and students are so focused on paper exams that they forget to spend enough time putting what they learn into practice. However, changing the government, reforming the education system will take a long time. And actually, there's something we can do on our own to change ourselves. The question is, are we able to realize that we have the fundamentals? And actually, today, I'm standing here to tell you how I realized it and what I learned from the realization. Here's my experience. When I was 15, I went to the UK for a month in a summer school program. The first day of the program, I was so nervous. And then I recognized there were some Japanese students in the corner gathering among themselves. How relieved I was to find them. I was heading towards them and just about to join their gathering when a striking image popped up in my mind. It was my uncle, who is one of my best friends and who survived a stroke when I was 14. Before joining the program, I was always complaining about school approach. However, my uncle always encouraged me, sometimes by joking, "Oh, Yuichi, it's much better than having a stroke in the summer vacation." And sometimes by saying, "This is a great opportunity for you to take a first step forward to the world." Take a first step forward. I rephrased those words firmly. That was when I got the courage to say to myself, okay, I'm not here to speak Japanese. So absent-mindedly, I tried talking to a random Caucasian guy who was also alone. I was scared. I didn't even know whether I could make myself understood because I didn't think I had the fundamentals in grammar and I knew I wasn't pronouncing words correctly. Ever. We were able to communicate after all. Even though we couldn't speak perfectly, even though we couldn't speak many words, one thing we were absolutely sure about was that we wanted to talk with each other. 1 month had passed. Obviously, I was changing. I was beginning to learn that most people abroad don't care so much about how you pronounce or how grammatically correct your speech is, as long as they can get the meaning. That was the first time I appreciated those enormous tests I had to take in Japan. It had surely given me the fundamentals anyway. The knowledge of grammar, vocabulary, idioms, and so on. How perfectly I got them didn't matter. All I needed was to take a first step forwards with a little bit more courage. And ladies and gentlemen, I know how tough it is to have the courage. However, we have to admit that English is becoming more and more important in today's global society. And actually, even in Japan, you can have the opportunity to speak English if you attend English-speaking clubs and international interaction activity, and so on. The more you speak English, the more confidence you get. It was the last day of the summer school program, and a party was held in a large hall on campus. We got together and cherished our last moments. And at the end of the party, the most exciting events began, prize giving. And at the very end, a voice echoed. The most communicative student, Yuichi Kurosaki. I was on the stage. Lights were shining above, and everyone was smiling and congratulating me. That was the moment I learned. The most important thing in communication is not the fluency, but the will to communicate. That was the moment I learned just a little bit more courage could let you take a first step forward, and that step will take you on a journey that you have never experienced before. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no need to be perfect. You already have everything you need. So what are we waiting for? I hope this speech can be a help for you to get the courage. So together, let us take a first step forwards with a little bit more courage. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Mr. Kurosaki. Then we would like to move on to the question and answer session. Mr. Kusama, please.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Kurosaki-san. So, you were selected as the most communicative student.
Yeah.
Well, that I don't know yet as far as this contest is concerned. I don't know that yet. You understand?
What do you mean?
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Well, anyway, so what do you think were the main reasons why you were selected as the most communicative student, other than the will to take the first step forward?
Okay.
Any other reasons?
Other than that I took the first step forwards. I think I'm the kind of person who likes the kind of making jokes, and I love to make others laugh. And yeah, this kind of attitude can be like universal.
Like how?
Like
How did you make people laugh at the time?
Yeah, as you have seen, I made a joke in the very first of this speech. Like I said, sorry for the very long title. Anyway, let me start. and it was a kind of joke, and I don't know, I'm not sure it was funny for you.
I don't know, maybe people like that joke. Okay, that's okay. I think it's a kind of dangerous for you to keep on saying, take the first step forward anyway. It's like drugs, legal herbs, drinking, okay, yeah, maybe. Smoking, so if you keep on saying, do it, you know, like it or not, give it a try. And in the case of legal herbs, you know, it's very dangerous. So my question is, where you draw the line between do it and not do it?
Okay, I would say that I want to make others to do something, no matter what it might be. I'd say if it is something that would give others the profit, and if it makes others feel happy, I want to recommend it. And as I've said in the speech, in order, if you take a first step forward, there would be a conversation and communication, and it's something that gives you, both of you, the pleasure of having fun.
So you are suggesting this just for the sake of others, not for yourself?
Actually, I don't. It doesn't necessarily be. It's not something like that. It's okay if it's also for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like the illegal herbs. It's okay for you if you believe it should be okay. Yeah. And that if you tell other people, okay, illegal herbs, so wonderful, why don't you try it? So which means that you're suggesting that idea. Well, it's a bad idea to everybody, not only to yourself but also the others. Is that okay? How do you determine whether what you're going to do is good or bad? Do it or not?
Actually, the legal herbs are like.
Well, that's one of the examples in general.
Yeah, it's not socially accepted, you know, but how to draw the line between those two?
Yes.
If you think of someone you love most, and it's my personal opinion, but in my case, my uncle or my grandfather passed away last year, and I don't think he will let me do the kind of thing. And that kind of sense of love is something that you feel more like, that you give you the sense of justice. And if it's not something that the kind of like something that they would say, yeah, it's okay.
But still, there's the possibility others like illegal herbs, and then it would make them happy. Yeah? Do you think so?
Yeah, but this kind of joy is not like happiness, you know.
Okay, let's talk about that later. Sorry for that.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
No more questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kusama and Mr. Kurosaki. I believe sometimes it can be very difficult to take a first step. Once, I had a time when I stopped talking English. My friends laughed at me because I had a British accent. I pronounced hot dog, hot dog. But the next day, I couldn't talk. If I had heard Mr. Kurosaki shout then, maybe I would have gained the courage to speak. Thank you very much for an encouraging shout.